Hello everyone, in this video we will cover some words and expressions to talk about problems and solutions. First you will hear a word and its definition and an example, how to use it in a phrase or in a sentence. After that, you will see the word or an expression or a sentence on the screen. Take your time and try to repeat the phrases or the sentences that you see on the screen. It would also be perfect if you pause the video and write the expression or the expressions or even the whole sentence down. Writing it down helps you to memorize the words. So it does make sense to invest some time and write it by hand. At the end of the video, you will have a test which will help you once again to put into practice the words and expressions we learned in this video and to practice a little bit more. So without any further ado, let's get the ball rolling. And the first word we would start with is a difficulty. It's a very common word to paraphrase a problem, and it means a problem. You can have personal difficulties or financial difficulties. People can also encounter difficulties. For example, I can say new learners often encounter difficulties. Or when you want to solve a problem, you deal with difficulties. For example, we need to make efforts to deal with these difficulties. So once again, a difficulty, to face or to encounter difficulties, and to deal with difficulties. A challenge. A challenge is a situation of being faced with something that requires great mental or physical efforts in order to be done successfully. So it presents a test to a person's ability. For example, finding a solution to this problem is one of the greatest challenges faced by the scientists in the 21st century. We often say to rise to a challenge, which means to have the ability, to have the strength, to have the capacity to do something successfully. For example, it's a difficult job, but I am sure she will rise to the challenge, meaning I'm sure she will be able to do this job successfully. An issue is another way to refer to a problem, and we say to deal with an issue or to address an issue. For example, as employers, we need to be seen addressing these issues sympathetically. We can also say a side issue to refer to not the main problem. For example, don't worry about who will do it. That's just a side issue. That's not the main problem. A complication is something that makes the situation more difficult to deal with. For example, I can say an added complication is the growing concern for the environment. Or if any complications arise, please let me know and I will help you. A crisis is a time of great confusion, disagreement, and suffering. It's a situation in which somebody or something faces one or several problems at a time. A crisis can be financial, it can be economic, or it can be a family crisis. For example, I can say natural disasters have obviously contributed to the country's economic crisis. Or I had to take a day off to deal with a family crisis. Our pet passed away and our children were inconsolable. And inconsolable means that they were crying non-stop, nothing could bring them comfort. They were grieving so much. A dilemma refers to a situation in which you have to make a difficult choice between two different options. For example, the community is clearly in a dilemma about how to tackle this issue, or the community is clearly in a dilemma over how to tackle this issue. You can also say a moral dilemma or an ethical dilemma. For example, this issue raises a moral dilemma, or this issue raises an ethical dilemma. Or we can also say to face a dilemma of doing something. For example, she faced the dilemma of disobeying her father or losing the man she loved. To mitigate, to make something less harmful, unpleasant, or bad. Fortunately, there are ways for the government to mitigate these issues. Or, unfortunately, it's unclear what can be done to mitigate the effect of tourism on the island. To counter means to act as an opposition. We can say to counter an issue or to counter difficulties. For example, investments in public transport can go a long way in countering these issues, or they are taking measures to counter these difficulties. To overcome means to succeed in controlling or dealing with the situation. For example, I can say to overcome difficulties, to overcome obstacles, to overcome problems. For instance, the plan was designed to help women and minorities overcome discrimination in the workplace. To address is to give attention to and to deal with a problem. The issue of funding hasn't been addressed yet, or the government has failed to adequately address the issue. To alleviate, to make something unpleasant such as pain or problem less severe. For example, the problem of alleviating mass poverty, or the new research has alleviated these fears to a certain extent, or the new drug did nothing to alleviate her pain. The noun will be alleviation. For instance, the energies are focused on the alleviation of the refugees' misery. To approach. If you approach a task, a problem, or a situation in a particular way, you think about it or deal with it in that way. For example, the bank has approached the problem in a practical way, or try to approach the problem with an open mind, or employers are interested in the way you approach problems. To eradicate something means to get rid of something. The government claims to be doing everything it can to eradicate corruption. A campaign genuinely sought to eradicate poverty. Many diseases that once claimed millions of lives have now been eradicated. To intervene. If you intervene in a situation, you become involved in it and try to change it. For example, the government did nothing to intervene in the crisis, or the minister intervened personally to stop the museum from being closed. To react. If you react to something that has happened to you, you behave in a particular way because of it. For example, it is natural to react with disbelief if your child is accused of bullying. They reacted violently to the news. To resolve. To resolve a problem, to resolve a difficulty, or to resolve an argument means to find a solution to it. For example, have you resolved the problem of transport yet? Or we need to resolve these problems before it's too late. Or they hoped the crisis would be resolved peacefully. You can also use to resolve the differences, as in the couple tried to resolve their differences and get along. To tackle a problem means to deal with a problem in a very determined or efficient way. For example, you can say there are several ways of tackling this problem, or the president is clearly in a dilemma about how to tackle this crisis, or there is a lot of indecision over how to tackle the problem. Question number 1. The company has encountered financial. Pause the video if you need more time. And the correct answer is difficulties. The company has encountered financial difficulties. Question number 2. We have faced some, but we have also accomplished a lot. Pause the video if you need more time. And the correct answer is challenges. We have faced some challenges. Question number 3. She is concerned with a variety of moral. Pause the video if you need more time. And the correct answer is issues. She is concerned with a variety of moral issues. Question number 4. I don't know what to do. It's a real. Pause the video if you need more time. And the correct answer is dilemma. It's a real dilemma. Question number 5. Emergency funds are being provided to help the effects of the disaster. Pause the video if you need more time. And the correct answer is mitigate. Emergency funds are being provided to help mitigate the effects of the disaster. Question number 6. The president personally in the crisis. Pause the video if you need more time. And the correct answer is the president intervened personally in the crisis. Question number 7. We found new ways to the problem. Pause the video if you need more time, and the correct answer is to tackle the problem. Question number 8. The issue should be with caution. Pause the video if you need more time, and the correct answer is the issue should be approached with caution. Question number 9. Local residents have angrily to the news. Pause the video if you need more time, and the correct answer is reacted angrily to the news. Question number 10. He overcame the of poverty and neglect. Pause the video if you need more time, and the correct answer is he overcame the obstacles of poverty and neglect. That's it for today. Remember, the more you practice, the easier it will be for you to use the words that we covered in this lesson. Therefore, take a couple of minutes to make your own sentences with the words we covered in this lesson. The best way to practice is to speak with somebody or to write down your sentences on a piece of paper, or best of all in a notebook. Or if you don't want to write by hand, you can also type your sentences and leave them in the comment section below. Whatever you do helps. The more you practice, the better you become. Remember, perseverance is always the key to learning a foreign language. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.